One of my favorite things to do is to watch people react to Am I the Asshole posts on Reddit. We've done one of these before, but we decided to do this again just to have a little bit of fun. So, welcome back to Reconfiguring Reality. I'm Laura,
I'm Jesse.
I'm Chash.
And I'm not yawning, also known as the Jericho.
and today we're going to read some Am I the Assholes? So I did put out a homework assignment for us all to bring at least one Am I the Asshole post. And I know I have two.
I also have two.
I have
Okay.
one.
Okay. Jericho, did you bring any?
Oh
Jesse, you're
yeah.
slacking.
All right. So
Uh,
who do
it's
we want
okay.
to we want Chess, you can start the first one.
Why do I have to start?
Because
Cuz I said so.
Fuck, you want to hear the fucking, you want me to be illiterate for a few minutes? Hold on, I gotta pull it up on my phone.
It should already be
Yes, we
up.
are professional
You know
podcasters. We're
what?
hey,
always
I have
No,
prepared.
we're
mine up
fucking not.
already.
Listen here, Linda. Okay, do you want the Am I the asshole for refusing to wear body makeup for a friend's wedding?
I
Or
saw
do
that
you
one.
want the
I saw
Oh
that one
well,
too.
the reason I'm reading them out is in case somebody has the same one.
Okay, do that one cuz I don't have it, but I saw it.
Well,
Go
but
ahead.
here's the other option is am I the asshole? My husband will invite his family and friends over without telling me
I saw that one too.
I
until
read that one.
that day. Okay, so we're doing the am I the asshole for
So
not
you
wearing
could do
body
either one of
makeup?
them because I didn't copy those ones. So
You
you're good to
literally sat
go.
there going, I read it. Next. Decision's been made. So, am I the asshole for refusing to wear body makeup for my friend's wedding?
Okay.
I'm already gonna say no. That's my opinion just from
I
the
need more
title.
context before I say anything.
I know. So, my friend has just gotten engaged and has asked me to be her maid of honor. I am beyond thrilled for her and beyond touched she's asked me, but it's on the condition that I wear body makeup over my psoriasis. I can't do that. Not only is it impractical, any makeup that will actually cover it will exacerbate the condition and make life miserable for me. To be clear, I have it well under control. I am not flaky. The skin is simply very red. It covers 80% of one forearm, 20% of the other, both elbows, and I have a large patch on my calves, knees, and 90% of the top of one foot. I use gentle manual exfoliation and a moisturizer that helps control the dry and excess skin. I apply the moisturizer a couple of times a day and wouldn't be able to do this while wearing makeup. I let her know I wouldn't be able to do that, explained why, even though she knows I have been very careful with all products I use and since quite unhappy with me. Oh, I think she meant to say she's unhappy with her, not the typo.
Mhm.
Beautiful photographs that make everyone feel beautiful and confident, which really upsets me. What the fuck? This is a huge typo.
You're like, this person's an asshole for this typo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm reading this and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Whatever, we'll move on.
we basically the bride is probably saying that she wants
That
her to
she
wear
wants to
makeup
take
to make
photos.
the photos as
Hmm.
beautiful as possible.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
but
understanding. It's just not typed out that way.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She has a very specific aesthetic she's going for.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. All right. I am content and confident in my skin. I know it's there and people stare sometimes, but what I can do about, I'm sorry, but what can I do about that? God dang grammar. Most people think I've had some kind of gnarly motorbike accident or something, to be honest. I'm at the point in my life where I honestly don't care and often forget that it's usually or unusual to see. I know the reason is because she doesn't want to see it in her photos. I said as much to her and she was offended. Bitch.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay, so
She's explained all pretty much, yeah. She's explained pretty much all of this and that she doesn't want to cover it. And the bride is pretty much just doesn't want it in her photos.
okay, then pay someone to airbrush it out.
That's also what I was thinking. Yeah, so she was offended. I suggest that I wear something with long sleeves and a skirt, which I mean that's completely reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But she already has her heart set on a mid-length strapless dress and a shawl covering, yeah, won't go. So she has already picked out the dress and she doesn't want her to wear a shawl just
Okay.
to cover up.
No, I don't think she's the asshole because you knew about her skin condition ahead of time.
Yeah, so
So
if you're
why are you
friends, you already
asking
know.
someone with a medical condition to put makeup over that could exacerbate the condition even more because of the crap that's in the makeup? Why are you trying to make this person feel bad that you want
So
yeah, no.
she also states, it got to the point where she was getting heated because I won't do it and told me to either wear the body makeup or don't bother coming. I ended up telling her either she has me as is or not at all and left. She is now not speaking to me, but has told her fiance that I will accept the role. And then she asks, am I the asshole? Should I suck it up, wear the body makeup, and deal with it? I love my friend, and I would hate to miss her wedding, but wearing the body makeup would just make the nights so miserable and cause so much irritation and possible pain if it gets so bad my skin splits again.
See?
Oof.
Now,
No.
mind you, there is an update to this, but I don't know if we actually want the update.
Well, I think she's not the asshole, but I do want to know the update.
Yeah, I do want to
I
know the
also
update to
agree.
see if the weddings happened, if she stepped down or what.
Jericho,
Right.
what do you think?
All right. So let me just clarify the question. Is she saying, is she the asshole for refusing to wear the body makeup? Is that my understanding?
Yes, so
Correct.
she's asking because the
Okay.
bride doesn't want them in her wedding photos.
Right, right. I got all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So is she the asshole for doing that? Let me answer this two ways. For herself, for her peace of mind, and for everything that comes along with having a condition and the suffering because of that condition. No, she's not an asshole for looking out for her own well-being. And removing yourself from the wedding is the right thing to do. However, I will also state, and this is going to be controversial, I know, her friend is also not an asshole for asking her. And you're
No,
probably
I
like,
never said. I can understand. It's a wedding. You want. I'm not
It's
saying
a
she's an
little
asshole
bit,
either. I'm just saying.
no, I think it's a dick move. But the
yeah,
reason
it's
why
a
I
bit of
say
a
I
bitch or a
don't
dick
think
move to ask somebody that.
the reason I don't think it's an asshole move though is because it's not your wedding. You're not the bridesmaid, the maid of honor. You're not some giant important person. You're just a friend.
I thought she was
Hmm.
the maid daughter. I thought she was
She is
asked to
no
be
no no.
maid of
She
honor.
was
No,
asked.
yeah,
To,
she
she
was
was
asked
asked
to
Okay,
to be
so
maid
be.
of
she was
honor.
asked. So then you may
Yeah,
be a little
hold
bit
on,
more
I'm double
special.
checking. Yeah, friend asked her to be the maid of honor.
So if that was the case, right? Yes, she has her condition, but again, brides get really weird about their weddings. It's not
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
justifying her actions, but I'm just saying it. I look at it this way. Imagine if your child wanted a Spider-Man birthday party. They love Spider-Man and they want their best friend to be there, but their best friend is terrified of Spider-Man. So the best friend doesn't want to go because the abject terror of being around the thing that just gives him nightmares. But his best friend's like, look, you're supposed to be my best friend. You should be here, even though he knows that he's afraid of it. So is he supposed to change his entire party to suit his one friend, or does he X out the friend that he really wants to be there? He's in a rough spot,
The
right?
difference is you can avoid Spider-Man where you can't avoid a medical condition.
Mm,
but
Well,
no,
it's not entirely
if
true.
you are
There's things
heart
you can
set
do.
on Spider-Man, but the thing is what I think she is the asshole, the bride kind of is the asshole for, is her saying no and then not speaking to her about it.
Well, it sounds like they had back and forth. It didn't sound like she just said no once and that was the end of the
A
story.
heated back and forth.
Oh, okay, see, I missed that part. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes, because in most girls slash women's minds, they're only gonna have one wedding. Like that is the whole point, is you were supposed to marry that person. They are supposed to be your forever. So every girl has, I even have like my dream idea of a wedding, and I am not willing to accommodate and or change to appease anybody else.
Good girl. Good girl.
Now, am I going to, like,
within reason.
if I asked someone to sit there and be my bridesmaid, and let's say they had an offensive tattoo,
You asked
and
me, I'm covered in tattoos, and you don't want any tattoos to show at your wedding.
yeah, let's say I did that,
I'll
and
get the concealer and the foundation.
and I said, can you, if I pay, like, but is she paying? Now another question is let's say, is she gonna pay to have the makeup applied, or is
Well, here,
she going to have to try and apply it herself? Like, if she's wanting this, because that type of makeup, that to like full, like, it's not just like normal makeup, because there's specific makeup to cover up tattoos that's not normal makeup. It's a lot more expensive.
well, there's
So
also non-covering make. Shouldn't you have to go through the process of covering makeup? Like you can hire somebody to just Photoshop the photos.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
so what if the friend
it's like a way
offers
easier way to
to,
do it than that.
yeah,
Uh,
so that was my question, was like, why wouldn't you just pay, see if your friend would, instead of exacerbating maybe this medical condition that she has, no, like tattoos we all have control over. We choose to put tattoos on our body. This girl has no control over the fact that she has severe psoriasis.
Well, and not
And
even that. At the moment, she has it under control. So why would you risk irritating it and causing yourself more pain? Because it is
Mhm.
very painful and suffering just to, put a chemical on top of it because to make someone happy.
Right.
I mean,
well,
maybe there
to be
is
fair,
like,
also she talked about it being miserable, so the makeup she may be using may not even be special makeup. It may be, we don't know what their financial
yeah.
situation is, but
But
there
at the
are
same time, she's
alternatives that she
found a
could have done
solution.
to.
She's found a solution that helps with her psoriasis so it doesn't become inflamed and flaky and itchy
Oh
and
yeah, there's
splitting
plenty of
open.
steroid creams. There's all sorts of stuff you
Yes,
can put
but
on.
she's found the method for her, and for her, it's constantly applying a moisturizer,
That
which
you can't
you
do over makeup.
can't do, like, you can't do
Yeah.
that with makeup on.
So
Well, that's
it's
not
just,
entirely true. Now it depends on what the moisturizer is and what it's based off of. If it's a dry moisturizer, is weird as the term as it is, that is meant to seep into the skin and then disappear,
Well,
right?
she said that she couldn't apply it over the makeup, so we have to take her at her word for it.
Well, right, but we're not again, you're confusing what I'm saying. I'm not
And
saying the
I was
makeup is
gonna
the
say, as
answer.
someone who wears makeup a lot, I've never seen anybody apply moisturizer after putting their makeup
No, no,
on.
no. What I'm saying is they can alter the moisturizer itself. They can use like skin pigmentation, the same kind of stuff you use to like dye your skin, right? But like you can put pigmentation to things. There's other options that people have used for similar things in the past that they apply their psoriasis things that are short term. It's not a long term solution. That could have been done as well and there's other things you could do depending on what it is. Again, if it's just a moisturizer, there may have been a different moisturizer that worked. There could have been options, but it doesn't seem like any of this was exploring it, right? It looks like they both just stuck their sword in the sand and said, "I'm dying on this hill."
mhm.
Yeah, but
Which,
So,
dying on the hill to you need to cover it up because I don't want to see it in photos. And the other one is dying on the hill of my comfort.
Okay, what's the update?
I was just about to cut to that. So we do have an update. And she says, firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who commented. I honestly thought the majority would tell me to suck it up. It's just for a few hours and for one day, and was surprised by all of these supportive comments, compromise suggestions and encouragement to seek further treatment for the sake of my health, not to like appease anybody. I'm definitely going to take my psoriasis more seriously due to some of you, so thank you. I'm also sorry. Mods having a lot of comments and stuff. None of the really important shit.
Okay.
All right, so I think she starts it here. So, I also want to mention all of the Photoshop slash editing comments. I feel stupid for not even considering it at the moment. It's such a simple and obvious solution. I was also shocked and taken aback by my friend's reaction and insistence. It didn't even cross my mind. I spent the night bawling my eyes out because a lot of the comments made me feel I'd wasted nearly 30 years of a friendship with this person. I doubt a lot of it. I love her still, and was still very confused. I was going to call my friend tonight to discuss this again. I was truly touched she asked me to be her maid of honor. She has such Yes, she has such a close relationship with her sister that I never thought even once she would ask me. I didn't end up calling my friend, as her fiance called me to thank me for accepting the role, which we all know she didn't, to tell me secretly that his family wanted to pay for the bridal shower, hence, hens night?
Yeah.
Hens
That's
as in
like
like
the
female chickens?
Yes, so it's like bachelorette night.
Yep.
Okay, I've never heard bachelorette
it's.
night be
I
referred
think
to
it's.
like that.
I think it's overseas.
Okay. And anything else we wanted to do or go as, he knows the people's friends, and the other bridesmaids. Weren't weren't in the position to be able to contribute, and his family pretty much wanted to take care of all the costs.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I lost my place real quick. Sorry. She says it seems kind of like a red flag to her because it was kind of odd that somebody would offer. I told him that I hadn't accepted the role and that my friend had told me either I wear the makeup or I don't come at all. Fiance was shocked and confused. I explained to him that even mild inflammation would cause days and weeks of irritation at best, or months of pain slash cracking skin and possible infections at worst. He had no idea and was completely oblivious and very confused. He's only really known me for a while. My condition has been pretty decently controlled, and I tend to play it off as it's not serious to people because I just don't want to talk about it. We finished our phone call, and after a couple of hours, my friend calls me back. I can tell she's been crying and was quite upset. She apologized profusely, and it turns out that her future mother and sister-in-law had been picking away at her, making her feel awful about herself and how she needs to be perfect, pristine, and beautiful on her wedding day, and nothing can distract from her. They both had convinced her that she is especially kind and not to worry or care about how I looked, but that everyone else is just lying to me slash her about not caring. It's been going on for months, even before they knew of the engagement. Little digs about me trying to turn my friends against me. What? About me trying to turn my friends against me. That's her words. I don't fucking know. I'm just reading. So she says both mother-in-law and sister-in-law are apparently disgusted by my psoriasis to the point it makes them physically ill. And to that she puts a eye rolling emoji.
Oh my god, fuck
Okay, well
them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
this makes more
And
sense now.
that her
Neither of them are the
entire
fucking
wedding
asshole then.
day will revolve around how I look and will make everyone miserable. That it's all anyone would speak about, and if I came, no guest would be able to eat or enjoy themselves. That I was selfish for even considering going without hiding it. They didn't want me there at all and were threatening my friend with not having the wedding.
Okay, so it's mom and sister-in-law.
There's more.
Oh god.
It was never about the photographs. It was about my condition being visible in general, which she even offered to wear like long sleeves and a long skirt and everything just to
Mm-hmm.
hide it. I didn't really know what to say or do. It, it, it was a lot to process, and I do truly believe my friend is sorry. Like I said, this was so out of character for her. My friend's fiance got on the phone once she had finished explaining. He is going to speak with his family. He apparently had no idea that this was happening and is pissed for my friend and on my behalf. I don't know what's happening with the wedding or wedding party, but my friend has said that she can't imagine her day without me there and that she feels awful. She allowed them to manipulate her in that way. I don't know how to feel yet. I have emotional whiplash. I'm hurt and confused. My friend let them convince her to go through with this, but I do think and hope we can get through this. And that's the update.
Oh my God. Okay. Hold on. I got a Jericho
That was a
moment here.
lot.
So
Yeah.
from the get-go, all right, I already showed my trepidation for this woman because I think she was making stupid calls on her own right, right? This proves my point. She didn't take care of her own psoriasis. People jumped on her like, you can get a cure for this, right? Like, unless you have the world's worst psoriasis, just insanely bad psoriasis, it's not only manageable, it's almost curable to the point of
But let's
management.
let's keep in mind that this is a Reddit post, so they don't actually know how bad the
Well, she admits
psoriasis
it.
is.
She's
But
saying that she
yes,
manages it on her own with no medicine, no nothing, and
yes, but she
moisturizer.
also
But
but
she
she's also
also
told
we
us
don't know if she
before.
has health insurance or anything like that where medications would be covered to try and cure
Exactly.
it.
And she's also told us before that it's red. It's not flaking. It's not it's not cracking open or anything. It's just red irritation on the skin.
Right, it's psoriasis. I mean, that's
Yes,
that's common. But my
but we
point
have
is,
to keep
is
in mind
even
that these
financial
people who are
situation aside,
commenting can't see her. So she might not have known 100% like, would these meds work for me? She found a method that works for her and that she was happy with at the
r-
time.
right? But the point is her statement of I need to take it more seriously.
I
And
mean,
never
hell,
once
I
should
could
she,
take my illness more seriously, but I don't.
right? But that laissez-faire way of looking at it means you have options that you're ignoring. There's a person who's destitute, a person who has no options is quick to mention that they don't have options, especially in an anonymous post. She has nothing to lose. She's not
Yeah.
worried about getting doxxed. So the fact that she was like, "Oh yeah, I was brought to tears because I'm too dumb to realize basic shit," and then on top of it, she spent that whole time going, I really love my friend and I really miss her and I still love her. Her friend comes to her and says, Look, I was emotionally manipulated. They attacked me. I felt trapped. I didn't know what to do. And she goes, I can't believe you let her turn. That is such a selfish bitch move. No, she is the asshole. 100%. Because if you loved your friend and you missed her and you wanted to forgive her and she comes to you and goes, Look, I've been being tortured by these two bitches and I was going to lose everything if I said anything because they were just attacking me. And all of this kind of shit. Well, yeah, they're snobby rich people, and you're the poor one marrying their rich son, and this is
She
what's
should have
going on.
picked up the fucking phone and called her friend as soon as she found out that the reason why she made that stipulation was because she was being emotionally abused.
They should have both been honest with each other. And the fact that her friend had to be told by a bunch of strangers, "Hey, stupid, there's a thing called Photoshop, and it's 2025." Like, come on now. Like you'd
I
have to
didn't
be born
say
under
these
a
were
fucking
like
rock.
recent.
But I mean, even if it was 20 years ago, there were still things you could do. Like psoriasis was not this crippling condition that everyone makes it out to be. It's bad at for some people it is really, really bad, and there is no all the medicine in the world doesn't help. But if this woman has over-the-counter moisturizer and she's been able to reduce it to a level of just I've got red skin, and as long as I don't do anything to directly irritate it, I'm fine. That is a mild case at best. That's not even real. That's not like psoriasis where people have to take medication every day to get to that level, and that's like a saving grace that they're not clawing their own fucking eyes out. That's having bad psoriasis. Putting on some fucking Jergens baby cream a couple of times a day is all you need to have a normal life, and you don't have flakes, you don't have plaque buildup, you don't have things that make it so you can't walk, your skin doesn't rip and tear with every single movement. Get the fuck out of here. This bitch is a whiny hoe, and she deserves to get torn down. Like, no, she's a 100% the asshole. And no, I understand her saying that I'm not going to put on makeup and shit, and that's fine. But to just be like, I don't think that's right, and not try to find some other solution, even if her friend's being a bridezilla. It's like if your friend's dating a horrible person, and you at some point you have to just accept the fact that that's who they want to be with, whether you think they're right or not. It doesn't mean you can't still try to help them. It doesn't mean you can't still try to keep an ear out, or be like, yeah, man, sucks that they're treating that way, right? Try to help them see the light without being directly confrontative, but just to be like, well, I don't like who you're dating, so fuck you, we're not friends anymore. That's the stance she took.
Well, you could
It
also think the friend could have thought of Photoshop as well and brought that to
But it wasn't about the
everybody's
photos.
attention.
Yeah,
It was, but the
It
thing
wasn't
is
about the
it wasn't
photos.
about the photos.
no,
It
I
was,
agree.
Yes, it
I
wasn't
agree
about
that
the
a friend could have
photos.
done it, but at the same token, and you know me, I hate playing this fucking card or having another person play it. Her friend was a victim. If she's being emotionally abused, my ex-wife has no love for me, and I can't say that I'm pining over her. So, but the thing is, my mom did the same thing to her without me knowing it, right under my nose, living in the same house. She would just tear her self-esteem down and fuck with her, and I had no clue. I was completely clueless because my wife did not tell me because she didn't want to cause drama or to make, and she allowed herself to be manipulated and her mental health, just go into the shitter because she didn't open up to me. But I can't be mad at her for that because she was being abused. But I quickly became mad at the person who deserved it. Like part of me was hurt that my wife would not open up to me and tell me these things or reach out to me when she needed help. But my main focus at that time was to tell my mom to go fuck herself.
mhm.
And I got us out of that house. I was like, nope, we're done. I'm cutting you off. This is not happening anymore. And she's like, no, you don't have to. I'm sorry, whatever. And I said, okay, well, fuck, sorry. I'm like, you took a shot at somebody I cared about because you thought you knew better. And I don't care if she's a bad person or whatever. It's my choice. Go fuck yourself. Like that's how this works, right? So again, I hate defending victims and victim mentality, but in this case, I think it's a genuine case of abuse. I think she was being
Because she did,
manipulated
yeah,
by
she
them.
didn't even tell the fiance. Like she was hiding stuff because she was so worried about
Losing him?
losing him because of how the mother and sister-in-law were. And it also it doesn't explain the relationship of the fiance with his family. So she could have feared that if she sat there and said, hey, this is what your mother and sister are doing to me, who's to say he wouldn't have sided with them and then left. So she kept her mouth shut to keep the person she loves and was willing to sit there and take the abuse because she loves this man so much.
Now, I would have had a completely different reaction had she been like, I stuck to my guns. It was a fucked up thing. And I just stopped talking to her because I didn't want to make her day any worse. And I just didn't want to be hurt anymore by her making this choice. Right. And then comes the update of I found out all this shit. So now, um, I'm conflicted because I've already
She didn't
written
even
her
pick
off.
up the phone.
You know,
After finding all this information up, she did not pick up the phone to call the supposed friend of 30 years.
I thought she did. I thought that was how she found
No.
out, wasn't it?
No.
The fiance called her,
Mm-hmm.
and then her friend called
Oh
her.
no, her friend called her. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to kind of explain. But here's the thing though, is I don't see like our writer having to pick up the phone because here's the thing. Fiance calls, okay, cool, bachelorette party, whatever. And then the friend calls and explains everything.
Well,
So
that's
we
because
have
they're
no idea if she's written this like days later and she hasn't said anything, or if it's a situation of I just found this out and I'm in shock kind of
Yeah, but she could have
situation.
at least sat there and said, hey, now I'm an asshole because I didn't have all the information, but I'm still sitting here bitching and complaining about something because,
well,
oh, all the comments about the. You, I don't care about how you felt about the comments. You're an asshole because now you're sitting there and still trying to get sympathy after finding out your friend was emotionally abused
yeah, like, and here's my thing.
to the
Again,
point
I
where
still
she
think
was
the original.
asking
Oh, go ahead.
to the point where she was asking something she probably never would have asked that friend to do, knowing how painful, because she's even explained in her post that her friend knew like how bad the psoriasis and everything like that. So instead of saying, hey guys, thanks for all the comments, this is what happened, and now I feel like a huge piece of shit, it's I still want sympathy because I don't want to feel like a huge piece of shit.
Well, my thing was like, I think the initial post, if without the update, she was not the asshole. I think the bride was the asshole in that scenario, right? Now, 2020 vision, a lot of new information comes out. We get an update. I think, like, to Jesse's credit, like, I think a lot of my immediate gut reaction of this chick needs to be tossed in a dumpster is not just the fact that she didn't call her friend, not just the fact that she claimed to want, to have the friendship and it's basically handed back to her on a silver platter and it's a time for her to be a bigger person, but you went on Reddit to explain this looking for another answer. Like, if you're so dumb that you can't make a decision without hearing 10,000 comments from other people and sifting through it to hope to find some sort of insight, there's a difference between being genuinely lost in an area that you're not sure. And granted, this scenario doesn't happen to every single person, but this is not a difficult scenario. It's you're either going to believe your friend, which all the evidence that you've given us points to your friend telling the truth, because her fiance is fighting, that family is fighting, the wedding's in question, all of the shit that you found out has been verified by either her fiance or, for what we can tell, your friend. Yet you're still like, I don't know. I just have emotional whiplash. I'm like, okay, you have emotional dumbass. That's what you have, because you literally are like, I just want my friend back. I wish we weren't fighting. Friend comes back. By the way, I was basically emotionally raped. I'm sorry. I wish I was strong enough to pick you, but I was just afraid and beat down, and I'm sorry. And she's throwing herself at your mercy, and you're just like, I don't know. Maybe I'll forgive you. I'll think about it. Like, fuck you. And the horse you rode in on. Next, who's on the chopping block?
All right, Jericho, go ahead.
Go, Jericho, go.
All right, now me. All right. Let's see. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Am I the asshole stepdad? I've recently gotten married and we've been together now for the past 3 years. We dated a couple years before that and we had a lot in common. We both had children from a previous marriage. I've struggled to become a father figure for her children because I wasn't present in their life. They're older. Some of them are over 18, others are under 18. But I'm always just the guy in the marriage, the stepdad, and I feel like it's my place to provide a positive role model. Her youngest daughter wanted to go on a trip with her friends. This was a sanctioned trip to their school, However, it is overseas and it'll be your first time away from home. I, being the overly cautious parent, wanted her to take extra precautions, packing things like protective items, pepper spray, having emergency money and cell phone, etc. Her mother, however, disagreed with this. She thought I was being too controlling and telling her daughter what to do. So, unbeknownst to my wife, I had packed her a small emergency kit in case something went wrong. Her daughter was not always the most responsible person. As such, when they went on their trip, she used that emergency funds that I gave her to buy alcohol with her friends. They got drunk, got in trouble, and were sent home early. My wife blames me and says I disregarded her wishes, and because of my carelessness, I caused what happened. Am I the asshole?
No,
No.
No.
I think the kid's the
Jesus.
asshole for using the emergency fund to get alcohol.
How no, hold your fucking child responsible and accountable for their actions.
I mean, for me personally, I'm kind of in that. I've always been like a very like disciplinary type
Mhm.
person with my own son, and I've always seen parents do this when they're separated. Um, I agree that I don't think he was in the wrong for looking out for her best interest in what he thought was the right way. However, I will say this, I'll play devil's advocate as I often do, and I will say he should have been firm with his wife and stood up to her and said, "This is what's going to happen. I'm not consulting you on it. This is what I believe is the right thing to do," but respecting her enough to tell her and not hide it from her. Because for that exact reason that it blew up in his face.
But
I agree
Because
in telling her about like the emergency, like, kind of go bag situation. But at the same time, it's still the child that needs to take responsibility because it's the child's actions. Like, dad put it together in good faith and, wanting the best for this kid, and she kind of went and blew it.
I mean, low key, the mom might have actually, I mean, her outward reasoning might have been wrong or unfair, we'll say. I don't want to say wrong outright, but she might have known her daughter better, right? She knows her daughter's irresponsible, would have done something like this under pure pressure or just because she's that kind of way, because we don't really get a lot of detail as to what happened,
mhm.
right?
Hmm.
But
But I mean, that's where
So,
coming in and him telling her about, him doing this would have been beneficial.
mhm.
the thing is he was trying to be another parent. Like, would he blow up at her if she did the same thing with his child and his
My
child did
my
the same
question
thing?
my question is why isn't mom concerned about kids' safety the way stepdad is?
Because
Maybe.
mom might have like rose-colored glasses about her kid, and the dad
See, I
probably
wish we
kind of
had more
sees.
context on how the kid is.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe in the stepdad's eyes, the emergency fund, she would use it responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know, maybe peer pressure happened and she had the emergency fund and she was pressured in by her friends to use it and she didn't want to. Like, we don't have a lot of intel on how the kid is or has been on why he would feel to make that kind of bag for her either. But no, he should have told her. So maybe if he would have told her and she knew that the kid wasn't going to be responsible, this never would have happened. But it also would have been like, hey, if he would have told her and she thought it was a good idea, and then the kid did what she did, it would have been different, I guess.
I know from personal experience, whenever you're in a mixed relationship, meaning you have kids from different relationships and you're trying to make it work, there is a certain level of this doesn't belong to you.
Hmm.
And it's a prejudice that comes in through natural protection. Even animals do it. If a female is mated with a previous male and has children, she's fearful and protective of her cubs because the new male, although she is chosen to be with this male, will oftentimes kill off the former offspring so that his offspring is dominant.
Yeah.
You know, and that's inherent within humans as well.
But no, I don't think he was the asshole. I actually think it's quite sweet that he was worried and concerned
I
for
agree.
her.
I
I
agree.
agree.
And he was treating her like
His own child.
his own child. Because I could see him doing that probably for his own child too.
I will also say you can call the guy naive, but I think that shows a lot of trust and love he has for a child that isn't his
Mhm.
own, giving her that responsibility. Now, she may have abused it and that has its consequences, but the fact that he wasn't just like, she's my stepkid, not my problem,
Yeah.
right? Let dad pony up the dough. But okay, Lorelai, you have stories. Yes, I don't want to take too much
Um,
time.
I want to know Jesse's first. Make sure that I'm not reading hers.
Mine is, am I the asshole for not letting my mom see my kids?
Oh,
No,
I
I
saw
did
that
not have
one.
that one. Go ahead and read that one.
Okay. I, 27 female, have 2 kids, an older boy, 7, and a younger girl 3. For some background information, as a kid, my mom was on many different substances, so I lived with my dad for most of my late childhood and my whole teenage years, and my early childhood I spent taking care of my younger siblings, as I'm the oldest of 7. In 2018, I had my son, and my mom was in jail, and for a few things along the lines of illegal substances and unsafe child conditions. Not sure how specific I can get on here without getting in trouble. Not that I really thought about it, because in my teen years and leading up to this, I never talked or really had communication with her. She got out right before I gave birth to my daughter, and she had found out via Facebook and Instagram, reached out to me and said that it was her right to be in the room with me while I gave birth to see the new baby girl, and she wanted to meet my son as well. Mind you, this was the first time she reached out to me since I was almost 16 years old and I was now 20. Also, this was in 2022, so COVID was just kind of finishing, and still most hospitals only allowed mom, dad, and maybe one other person to parents' choice, which would be my dad. I quickly told her that would not be happening, as I feel uncomfortable with her being there or meeting my child. She went on sending me various messages on how terrible I was, and even went as far as contacting my siblings, which contacted me saying that she had changed, but I still just didn't think I could get over it. And for about a year after my daughter's birth, she would send rude and nasty messages about me and my husband's appearances, being very racist towards my husband, along with making disgusting remarks about my children, that I'm unfit to be a mother because of how my younger siblings are, and would even go as far as to threaten us, saying stuff like she'd just take them from us or would off me to see them because I was wrong. And this scared us, rightfully so. Now, this brings me to this past weekend on my 31st, or on the 31st, my mom reached out to me asking to see the kids and spend a night with them at her place. I said no, obviously. But now I'm getting the messages from my siblings and even my cousins saying that she's changed and been clean for a year now. I don't know. I still don't trust her, and I don't feel comfortable with her around my young children, especially alone. My husband and my dad's side agrees with me 100%, but my other family is almost shunning me for this decision. Am I the asshole?
No, she's
I'm going to
definitely
play
not the
devil's
asshole.
advocate here, though.
Girl.
No, she has not spent time with her mother to know if she has changed or not. I'm not saying she has to let the kids see her or see them or see the mother, but she has not spent any time, and based off the post, she has not mentioned if she has gone to lunch with her mom, and I get it, her mother went off the handle, but it said that her mom was sober for a year. So that means, yes, when that little girl was born, obviously she might have been using, hence the irrational behavior and the nasty messages. So she's not an asshole, but she's not, how do I explain this?
She's not making an effort.
Yes, she's not making an effort to see if she has changed, to justify, no, you don't get to see my children.
But I mean, at the same time, I'm I know she's going off of how her mother was in the past, and yes, they do need to find time to mend their own relationship before the kids get involved. So for me, I kind of see the whole like, because of past behaviors, this is what I'm deciding to do. Now, I do agree that they should fix their own shit and then discuss like seeing the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we all know
She's
like
not an asshole
previous,
for not letting her
yeah,
mom see the kids. She is an asshole for not
trying to improve or at least see
see it.
if
Yeah.
mother has, actually made the improvements.
Yes. That's my
So,
opinion.
so I'm going to say no, she's not an asshole for two reasons. One, I think it's justifiable that if, this is a big if, she wants to further the relationship, then she should allow that to happen, right? Then she should allow her mother the opportunity to prove herself, whether that's separate from the kids or included or whatever. And that's fine. However, I don't think she is under any right to give her mother a second chance. Your parent is,
Obligation, you mean?
yeah, either way it works. But anyway, so she's not under any requirement to have any fealty to her mother. Her mother, it's the opposite, right? The parent's job is to protect the child, to raise the child, to
Mm-hmm.
secure the child's well-being. If you fuck that up, you don't get a second chance. She doesn't get 18 years back to try it again. You've done the damage you've done. So just because you're like, well, I'm in a good place now, great for you. That's like saying, hey, I was an abusive husband and I beat my wife. And then, but my new wife, we have a great relationship and I haven't laid a finger on her. So my second wife should trust me. How does that make any sense? You've done nothing to prove yourself to anyone, and I don't want anything to do with you. I've moved on. So if the mother doesn't, or the daughter doesn't want anything to do with the mother, she shouldn't be chastised or made to feel bad because she doesn't want that.
Then she shouldn't care that the rest of the family is shunning her then. She should
Well, but
be like,
here's the
okay,
thing is
fine. If
she
you
could
guys don't
have,
respect my wishes, I don't care then.
but here's the thing is she could have a really good relationship with her siblings. And her siblings could be completely willing to overlook every single thing that's happened, that their mother has caused them and accept the fact that, hey, maybe she has changed. But she stated in the post that she's pretty much raised her siblings. So maybe they don't know the full extent of how bad it was.
Well, then she needs to block her mother on everything and set boundaries with the siblings and saying, I don't want to hear it. And if the siblings don't listen, then she has to make the decision of, do I cut everybody off to keep my peace? Because obviously it's upsetting her
Mm-hmm.
because her siblings are in a way attacking her.
Well, we also don't know if mom's actually changed or if she's lied to the siblings or
I
anything
don't.
like that.
I
Yeah,
don't think that has any
but the thing
bearing.
is it does say that she had substance abuse and stuff like that, and that alters how a person is.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where maybe she is clean now and sees, okay, I fucked up. I want to try and fix this. If you're not, then she needs to sit there and say, no, I want nothing to do with you. You fucked up. I'm not willing to see if you have changed or try, and you can't make up for the time you've missed, but you can at least try and have some form of a relationship, because technically it would be a waste of money on the grandmother's part, probably, to, depending on what state they live in, to go after grandparents' rights. But
Didn't didn't it also state in her message that she was being like demanding, and then when she would say no?
That was right when the little girl was born, and
Yeah,
then
but
3 years later, because the little girl's 3, and it
yeah.
literally, I'm assuming this because this was posted so on the 31st, so May 31st
Mm-hmm.
was when the mother reached out again, and that's when the siblings were saying she's been sober a year and stuff like that. Depending on the state, if the grandmother can show grounds of she's sober, she's working a program, a judge could grant her grandparent rights,
But
where she has no say. If a judge says, yes, this grandparent can spend time with these children, even just supervised, she has to listen to it. I don't foresee this grandmother being smart enough to do it. That's just
mm-hmm.
me. But there's a lot of avenues that this could go where it could cause more damage, because if the grandmother did take that path and she did win, then it's going to cause a lot of confusion with the two kids being like, well, we don't know this person. And
No,
that's something she has to maybe worry about.
well, what my question, or I guess statement was, is it was saying that she was kind of demanding to, of course, see the baby when baby was born, and then to see the kids again. And when mom said no, is when everybody would start with the nasty messages, even the
No, it
mother.
was just the
Or is it just the
mom
siblings?
sending nasty messages, and then the siblings would be like, "Well, she's changing." Like,
So to me, if you're gonna send me nasty messages after trying to get back into my life, that's like maybe I don't know if that's a previous behavior that she had before she got sober, or if that's a new behavior, but that to me
yeah,
that would scream
what it
no.
said was that the mom reached out asking to see the kids and spend, okay, asking to spend a night with them, way crossing the line, because you've never seen these kids. You should have
Hmm.
just been like, "Hey, can I see them for an hour here with you and your
Supervised.
husband supervising?" Because those kids are gonna be like, stranger danger.
Yeah.
But it's just, if she is sober.
But if she is sober, why would you pretty much belittle your
No,
child that you were
so
trying
the
to?
belittling messages were when the baby was a year old.
Yeah, but
The
that's
baby's
still
3, but the baby's 3 now, so when the baby was 2 is when she first got sober. So she's had a year of sobriety,
hmm.
and did not message, she does not mention like nasty messages. It was right after the birth, a year after the birth. Unless she just didn't include that and the nasty messages kept going, then yes, I can understand that. But based off of all the context, is there was no communication for like a year, and that's when she's finding out from the siblings the mom's been sober a year. But just because you're sober a year doesn't mean you're not going to relapse, though, too.
And we also don't know how extensive the damage was, that was done before she got clean.
Yeah, so it's
Okay. All right, so moving on.
mm-hmm.
Yep, go for it.
Am I the asshole for canceling a trip because my friend can't afford it?
Oh, I
Oh,
read
I
this
saw
one.
this one. Yeah.
I, 20 female, have a close friend, 21 female, who has been asking me for months to go to LA for a fun summer trip. Now, we live around 8 hours away, so I kind of just assumed we would fly, and the other day when she brought it up, I told her we should probably book our flights soon. To that, she looked really confused and told me how she couldn't afford plane tickets and she wanted to drive. I was sort of confused because if she couldn't afford a $150 plane ticket, how was she planning to pay for the activities and places she wants to go? Like Nobu, jet skiing, shopping, and clubs, and etc., which all add up quick. She also doesn't have her license, which means I would have to do all the driving, which would be hard as I have bad back issues and driving for so long would be painful. She just kind of laughed and said since I have money, she assumed I would pay for the majority of her expenses. I was shocked.
Mm.
I was shocked because why would she assume I would pay for her expenses without even asking? I have no problem covering something like drinks or ice cream, but to assume I would pay for everything by myself except for the hotel, we had previously agreed to split the hotel 50-50. I told her that this trip was her idea and she shouldn't have asked me to go if she was expecting me to pay for everything. She's upset and complaining about how it's unfair since I could afford to pay for her. Am I the asshole?
No.
No.
Your friend's a freaking asshole.
Self-explanatory. Like,
If you
no.
can't afford a trip,
Why are you
but
planning it?
yeah, why
Yeah.
are you planning it?
Welcome to entitlement.
Yeah, I don't know why friend felt
That
so
like
entitled.
I like it just baffles me. Even if you're like in a relationship with someone, and like let's say you're not even married, you have separate bank accounts. If you expect no, no, no,
I'm
no, oh my
sorry.
god,
You
no,
I'm
say
guys,
that
I
sorry.
as
didn't
these
know.
two
I
are
didn't
married and have a separate
no,
bank
oh
account.
my
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. No, I
No,
didn't
no.
even think of
No,
that.
no,
I'm
no.
sorry. Oh,
No,
okay. No,
Jess, you are 100% right.
I'm
But
not like poking at you guys. It didn't even dawn on me. But
no, you're not poking at us. But you're right. But I will tell you that this is a problem men have with women all the time.
Oh my
it's
God.
no, but it not even
In
just
almost
it
all
does not
relationships with
matter
men
if
and
it's the
women,
man
that's
or
how
the
it is. It's
woman.
That's
man
If
has
too
their
funny.
money and women has her money.
Man has their money.
but what
Hmm.
I'm saying is that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you're in a relationship and you have two separate bank accounts, if one person's expecting the other one to bankroll, that's not cool. I'm not.
Do I expect you to bankroll Jericho?
Oh,
Yes,
I am
No,
really
that's not
embarrassed right
true.
now. My cheeks are really
100% of the.
red.
Oh my God,
That
this
is
went
not true.
south so
Listen,
Okay,
quickly.
listen.
I will ask you this
No.
one simple question, my love.
Uh-huh.
Have I ever asked you, are you paying for this or am I?
No, I offer to pay though.
I'm not saying you don't on occasion, but you have asked me that a lot. When
But
the
for
only reason to ask me that is because you want me to pay.
Have we like uncovered something
uh
here?
No, I
So
didn't
normally no
mean
listen.
to.
Normally when I ask that is because I want to pay.
then you
So
can just pay. I never fight you on it, and you know
um
me.
but I'm talking about the trip
Yeah, with
aspect.
those separate
So
bank accounts.
so Jericho paid for the flight and the hotel and the car for our trip, our annual trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
You paid for all of that, right?
Technically.
Right. But
But
I'm
I want to give this credit to you because I don't want you to make it sound that way. So we had to save for Gen Con, which we always do. But rather than us both trying to save money and then figure out who pays what and when, I paid for everything with the understanding that I know I wasn't going to be able to save money because I was going to have to pay for everything else leading up to it. So she's like, I've been saving money for our trip to Gen Con. So in my mind, we're really still 50-50 splitting it. It's just for the sake of titles or whatever you want to call it, she saves all the money for the trip for us to spend and have money to do things while we're there. I paid for all the essential stuff up front, but it's not as if she's not contributing. I just want to make that clear.
but I also make sure that I save at least half of what is owed for like the hotel and stuff like that as our saving money, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we had that insight into your marriage
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
and your separate bank accounts.
Wait, no, I'm
That's for her benefit, not for mine. I consider money
Yes.
like any other resource in the house. Because originally she wanted a joint account, or well, she was open to the idea of a joint account. I insisted
mm-hmm.
upon separate bank accounts because I know her personality.
And because of my past trauma.
Yeah. So anything that would
So,
put her at ease so she feels like some women hide a nest egg in these modern relationships so they can run away, right? They have money to run away if it goes south. I don't
Yeah.
think Lorelai would ever do that. But it's just she likes being independent. So like having something to have that's in under her purview
yeah.
makes her more secure
I'm
because
in
that's just how
control
her
of
mind
my own
works.
finances.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
Yes.
we took her to urgent care the other day and she was like, I can't afford this. I don't have it. Can I split it between two cards? I'm like, what are you talking about? Just use my card. And she was just like, well, I'm not going to assume I can use your card. I'm like, it's what it's there for. Like, we're married. Stop acting like we're two separate people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but that's
But
just
in thi-
how she does things.
but in this case, friend is totally an asshole because
Yes.
they're not in
100%.
a relationship. So why are you expecting friend to pay for everything? That would be like me and Jess planning a trip and me expecting Jess to pay everything.
Yeah, or me expecting you to pay everything.
Right, and if we do that, we're screwed because
No.
nobody's paying.
Yeah, because it's just like, oh, well, I can't afford the whole thing. Well, neither can I. Well, I guess we're not going.
There's an update.
Okay.
Go for it.
I told her for her to invite me on a trip and assume I'd cover expenses like this was ridiculous. As for now, I'm gonna cut back and let our friendship fizzle out. We've been friends
for
for
her.
years, but this was childish and out of line. Thanks for all the advice.
Good.
Yes.
Good for
agree.
her.
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
Uh-huh.
It's that
Devil's
time again.
advocate.
Time to go to Jericho Land. So
Time to
you're,
go to Jericho.
yep, you wanted to pay the fast pass, lady. So now it's your turn.
Oh, fuck.
All right. So here's the thing: if she was such a good friend, why wouldn't you have a? Why don't you talk it out with her? Why don't you find the root of this belief? Why don't you dig into it? Because she knew the type of relationship they had. They had a friendship. She knows it. She has a lot of money, but she's still hanging out with some ratchet person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? Because you're probably socially awkward. You don't have any other friends. This is your whole life. So you're willing to pay for it to a point.
Uh,
Once it got too expensive, she cut the friendship because the friendship simply wasn't worth paying for. All that we've been friends for years bullshit means nothing if you just pack up and leave. Right? So
she said they've been friends for years, not good friends for years. So it could have been one of those
if they weren't friends, then you
facade
need to
friends.
understand what words mean because
Okay,
then
but
you're not
what the
friends.
hell does a good friend mean compared to a friend?
This is those remember those flashy women words I talked about in other posts?
Yes.
This is a flashy woman word.
Like, if I call someone a friend, it is not, there's no difference between a good friend and a friend, or like, no, if I call someone a friend, that means they're a friend. There's
This is
no
just too many definitions for one word.
Yeah, there's a lot of types of friends. I will say that. But again, you don't stay friends with somebody for years if they're just an acquaintance.
Yeah. So they were pretty good friends. Like, you don't sit there and plan a trip with someone you don't enjoy spending time with.
Okay, then. I guess that's going to be it for this podcast.
Like, subscribe, share, comment.
And don't be an asshole unless you're willing to accept the consequences. In which case, game on. Went to the same fucking website, I swear
Yeah,
to
it's
God.
called
Yeah,
Reddit.
Reddit.